Hello, all, and welcome back to Remembering the Kanji. This time we're gonna cover the contents of chapter 2 and 3. Um, I didn't get a chance to get in the sounds for the Pokemon cries, so if that's something that you liked before, let me know. But I did include some reference for some of the primitives or radical that make up the kanji. So let's go ahead and get started. First one we've got up today is Q, uh, meaning olden times. It's said in olden times, Trevenant would use solar beam at the start of the day. They use his twigs to make walking sticks. So you can see it's made up from the elements of walking stick and day. Also, the number of the slide correlates with the high sig number, if that's something that's relevant to you, if you're following along. Oneself, J. Imagine a nose pass looking at oneself, his eye open and pointing at his nose in the mirror before taking eye drops. This becomes the primitive for nostrils. So you can see he's got his nose kind of prominent there. Um, I think the AI kept wanting to put on Easter Island ears since he's like a Easter Island statue. So I think that might have influenced the imagery here, but it's made up from drop and eyes, and of course the nose is prominent for the other elements. But je would be oneself, which kind of works in French too. Now that I think of it, white or haku. I think of the dragon from Spirited Away. That's a spoiler, I guess. But I wanted the image to kind of look like Reshiram. Imagine a white Reshiram in the rain as he focuses a solar beam. This becomes the primitive for dove. Haku. So it's made up from drop, so that's why he's in the rain. And sun. I use the rain a lot anytime the drop shows up, meaning white. Haku. 100. I feel like the kanji kind of looks like a dude with his mouth open wide and squinted. I feel like the drop kind of element from white looks like a nose. So it's think of like an old dude like yelling, opening his mouth, firing the laser. Hyaku. Imagine 100-year-old upset white man shooting a hyper beam from his mouth. Is that Mr. Fuji? That's the old dude at the Pokemon Center who helped make Mewtwo. So think of him shooting a hyper beam out from his mouth for 100 damage. Hyaku. Hyaku%. Naka, being in or middle, made up from mouth and walking stick. The stick goes right in the middle there. Think of a hiker named Nakamura. He's in the middle of a field using his walking stick to get through. So we got the stick in the mouth. His mouth's kind of shut tight there. I feel like this art actually really hits the vibe of being in one. I often associate. I think the like surname Tanaka means middle of the rice field, so I'll sometimes confuse this for Ta. So just to remove the Ta element for this sake, think of this hiker's name as being Nakamura. 1,000. Sen. Imagine Ash tipping his hat forward after winning 1,000 battles. I feel like the imagery on like the hat tip is pretty strong here. Kind of tip my hat itself as I'm doing it. You know, one of those milady type poses made up from I and or eyedropper and then 10. Um, Kind of just the plus sign from Jew before. Tongue. Shita. Imagine a gloom asleep with the tongue out, drooling all over your bed sheet. Shita, made up from thousand and mouth. I had a different image here, but then I kind of realized it kind of looks like a gloom with the mouth open. I like the other image, so it'll show up later just cause. Um, but yeah, think of that tongue drooling out on your sheet, kind of grody. Hopefully that'll help it stick. Masu, measuring box slash grid. Grid being the reading from Wanikari and measuring box from remembering the kanji. A nurse holding a box full of 1,000 needles in a grid. This is how she measures the needed dose in mass, in masu. So 1,000, and then needles. You can see there's a bunch in that box. Shiou, rise up or ascend. Imagine Hariyama rising up from his knees in a boxing ring. The sun is behind him. Let him show you his moves. Show you his moves. Uh, so Shioyu being made up from sun and measuring box. Think of the sun coming up and the bottom portion of the measuring box kanji kind of being his knees as he rises up. Maru, meaning round. So made up from drop and nine. Think of nine round Voltorb circled up in the rain. Uh, Remembering the kanji also uses this as a primitive called Fat Man. So there's a dude in the middle of them, kind of looks like Brock, like a chubby Brock, surrounded by these Voltorbs. Maru. Sun, or Sun, for measurement. Think of Smeargle with one eye closed, looking to a canvas on the left with his arm out. He's kind of measuring it up there, was the thought. Using his brush to measure, this becomes the primitive for glue. I didn't want to put in any imagery about him being turned into glue here. Probably too disturbing. But trying to associate him or this kanji with glue as well. Elbow. Hiji. Oh, oh. Actually, you know what? I didn't put the mnemonic here. I'm sorry. This is the placeholder text that I had from copying the slide. It's made up of the glue that we just mentioned and part of the body. So in this case, it meaning elbow. Part of the body was the primitive, I think, that was associated with that like Hitmonlee before. Um, so you could think of like a Golurk getting his elbow glued onto him. And hopefully that'll help that stick. I'm sorry about that here. Specialty. Sen. Imagine Mega Alakazam meditating in a rice field with 10 spoons floating up above him. This is his specialty. Sen. So this one's kind of complicated. It's got a 10 up above, a rice field towards the middle, and then glue in the bottom. You could think of maybe the glue being made from the rice, if that helps. Haku. Think of Chansey with a doctor using her needle to give you a drop of medicine. This is her specialty. Uh, Wanikani has this as meaning gambling. I think it took me a bit of effort to find that actually. This one's also kind of complicated. It's made up of needle, specialty from before, and then a drop towards like the bottom middle area. Sen, so this one's a homophone again. Imagine Jinx with her mouth open, telling your fortune with a magic rod. So she's holding a rod here. She's got a crystal ball, and her mouth's open. So just think of that rod being kind of above her head, and hopefully that'll help this stick. Ue, above or up. Ooh, eh. You can see Patrat above ground, keeping watch with his hand over his eyes. Kind of that like meerkat Timon type imagery. Sheeta, below slash down. Watchog is now down below the ground, keeping watch. So this guy, he's underground. Sheeta, he's looking for all that Sheeta. Eminent slash table. Again, Wanikani had table for what this meant here. So we have two different ones. Uh, it's made up from sunflower from before. So sunflower wearing a baseball cap, holding a magic wand over their head. With their powers, your fate is eminent. Taku. Got that eminent domain there, that domain expansion. Asa, meaning morning. So made up from mist, which I thought kind of looked like the sunflower before, and the moon to the right. Misty is looking up at the moon to the right with the sunflower in her hair. Ah, sa, asa. And derision, chiou, made up from mouth on the left, and then morning on the right. Imagine Ash with his mouth open as he mocks Misty in the morning. You can feel his derision each morning. So Misty's still looking up at the moon. Ash is not happy about that for whatever reason. Chiou. Tada. Only. It's only Kirby, with his mouth open nice and wide. He ate a kangaroo, but the only power he got was animal legs. Honestly, some of the other images that were generated here were a bit more disturbing when trying to get that prompt. I was trying to get it to do Igglybuff, but the idea of Kirby, or it kept generating stuff that looked like Kirby, and the idea of it being, or Kirby only getting legs kind of worked out for me. Ta-da! Here's Kirby. Here's his legs. Kind of creepy. Kai, or Kai, shellfish. Think of Kai the shelter with one eye. He has sprouted animal legs. So it's made up from eye before and then the two dots for animal legs. Kind of an interesting creature design here. Oh, for pop song. Oh, ooh, Wigglytuff is singing a pop song for the shelter. So mouth on the left, open wide, and then clams on the right. Tai. Imagine a shelter with a cap on. It's standing upright and with open and will open for no one till they can tie the knot. So this is a chaste shelter. Um, I feel like the magic wand kanji when it's like above top like that looks kind of like a baseball cap. So I kept using that a bit, but I still had him holding a magic wand here. In a shelter with his mouth open wide in a paper hat. He works in Burger King. Again, the mouth up top, I felt like looked kind of like a hat here, in specific like a Burger King employee hat. Make with that what you will. That was a meme some time ago. So Clam in a hat. He's an employee at the Burger King. Ha. Post a bill made up from Clam and fortune telling. Kind of looks like he's putting it in a bill box in the kanji itself. Kind of has the flag up on the right. A shelter with his legs going to post a bill to his fortune teller. Ha, what a silly image. I feel like the term post a bill feels kind of old fashioned, which is probably says a little bit about the Heisei remembering the kanji method. But let's keep rolling with it. At least the imagery itself here is kind of hard to forget. Post a bill. Meh, like Megane itself. For C, Hoot Hoot stands up on his human legs to see me, to see meh, with his eyes. Made up from eye, human legs. Pretty good fit for Hoot Hoot. Newborn babe. Oh, this image is kind of disturbing, but that's why it works. Made up from olden times and human legs. Oh, ooh. Misty with the old daycare man holding a newly born egg. The newborn babe has human legs. Kind of strange thing. Kind of a weird thing to have come up here. Again. Imagine two trainers at the start of their journey. Red and a new rival named Gen. So it's made up from two. So think of two trainers and the human legs. You could think of this as being like the origins of the journey. So this is right at the start at Pallet Town, right at the beginning. Again. Peiji. This one is the only one so far that's had katakana for like a romanized word. A cloister in the rain, shooting hyper beam. He took a page out of Cell's book. He kind of doing the shoop the whoop thing there. So one, a drop, and shells is what makes this up. So thus he's in the rain because of the drop. There's just one of them. And you know it's derived from shelter. Peiji. Stubborn. Gan. A stubborn Mudsdale at the beginning of a race. He could have been ahead. But now the others are gone. Gone. So it's a beginning and head. Bone, just a drop in the wind. Psyduck feels like a mediocre Pokemon. His bond with the team broken. Drop in wind. I, in hindsight, maybe I could have done this with Cubone, but Psyduck being one of the more popular Pokemon, the AI is kind of good at making those. And this imagery just kind of hit. Kind of see the squiggly line from the wind. You could think of the drop as being the leaf in there. Foo, defeat. What fools! Think of defeated Omanite, all bound up in a rope and ready for capture. Foo. You can see the bound up is just kind of that part at the top, but the lines that run through from the shellfish kind of make me think it's rope that's kind of tying them up. So think of them all tied up and defeated. What fools! What foo! Man, 10,000. Man, Red had to climb up over 10,000 steps to get the top of Mount Silver. Look how he lifts his knees. So I kind of think of like that right end of the kanji is like his leg being lifted up, because he's climbing up all these 10,000 steps. Man. Phrase. Ku. Like coochie, like mouth. Think of Loudred holding up a rope above his head. His mouth open wide as he shouts a rude phrase. Shouts about that coochie. Bound up in mouth. You see them kind of him holding the rope above his head from the bound up end. And then his mouth open wide because he's a Loudred. Another Hitmonlee event. Hada. Or Had. I'm not quite sure. Hitmonlee's skin has a human-like texture. Pulls a woolly scarf over his face to protect it from the wind. So in Wanikani afterwards, I figured out that this also refers to skin colored or skin texture. And Hitmonlee's kind of a fleshier dude, so that works. Originally, I was just going for the shape of the kanji because it has the part of the body kind of has his leg stuck out like Hitmonlee again. But the woolly texture of the scarf was what I was going for initially. The human skin part of it was kind of a happy accident after the fact. Hada. Shun. And remembering the kanji gave us Decameron, which I don't think anyone born in this decade or the last, or even the one before that says regularly, but Decameron or Decameron means 10 days. Think of 10 sunstones shown bound up together. Shone bound up together. Look how they shine. Shun. How they shone. Again, bound up and days. Ladle from remembering the kanji, and pool from Wanikani. Shiaku. Pansage is making a pool of soup with his ladle. He adds just a drop of sage while he is bound up in a scarf. So made up from a drop and bound up, meaning ladle or pool. Shiaku. Teiki. Oh, there's a little overlap issue there. But imagine Tauros with a dove on his head and a ladle to the side. His eyes are focused, meaning bullseye. So naturally, we brought in the bull Pokemon. Got a little bird on his head. Could be a Pidove, but we've got a dove on his head. That's the same one as the Reshiram image. It also means white. This is a white bird. We got a ladle beside him. Bullseye. Teiki. And neck. Think of a confused Farigiraf, the evolution of Girafarig, stretching out his neck to look up at a nosepass. What could it be? What could be? What could be? The animal horns I always think looks like like giraffe kind of horns. And then it has the primitive from nose that we mentioned before for nosepass. So think of that neck kind of stretched out, and the expression again kind of looks like the yelling old man from before for 100. Old white man. But yeah, just think of that giraffe neck coming out nice and long, looking over at that nose. Should be hard to forget. And that's gonna be it for this one. This is that image before that I just kind of like. I actually messed up how I prompted it, but I don't know. I think the lizard's kind of cute. I like lizards. Uh, Sorry for the delay in getting this one upline before. But hopefully I'll be a little faster with this upcoming one. Thanks again for your time, and have a great one.